A very warm and spirited welcome back, Nigeria. Before the break, we were about to delve into the newspaper review, where we have a look at the main stories that have made it to today's front papers. Ibrahim Shita, who usually does the newspaper review, joins me virtually this morning to dissect the papers. And in-house, we have our in-house analyst, Mr. Biodun Shomi. Let's get down to brass tacks. This morning, we begin with the Nation newspaper, which is, of course, the newspaper of record. The main headline here reads, 29 forged documents by fake agency have now been uncovered by a panel. An AGF letter to Aso Villa hijacked. This letter was allegedly intercepted, according to reports coming out. Adeyemi and 13 civil servants are now expected tomorrow. Let's move over to the Punch newspaper, and its main headline there is still on the fake agency scandal and the probe. The House faces pressure to summon Gbajabiamila. Underneath the main headline, the riders inform us that reps have now ordered the IGP to produce controversial DG Adeyemi within 48 hours. The calls are now growing to invite the Chief of Staff and Akume over 400 million naira bribery claim, amongst other very salacious claims. No funds were released despite approvals, Accountant General tells reps. Let's move over to the Vanguard newspaper. It's still on the fake agency here. And the main story there reads, how PFIPC was created. This account is given by the Accountant General of the Federation. The writer informs us that the reps have now summoned Adeyemi and they're ordering the Inspector General of Police to produce him by tomorrow. Let's mosey on over to the Nigerian News Direct, and the lead story there reads, Adeyemi forged State House letter, and he also intercepted correspondences. This is said by the Attorney General to the Federation. He's telling this to House of Reps members. Let's move over to the First Daily newspaper, and this is on issues of security here. Main headline reads, Kaduna massacre, terrorists slaughter 30 in a fresh attack. Just above this lead story, next to the First Daily logo on the right-hand side, we see some international news here. Xenophobia. Nigeria demands protection for citizens as President Tinubu snubs South African envoy. Let's move over to the Daily Trust newspaper. This is not welcome news on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Gunmen kill 5 siblings and 25 others in Kaduna. And we'll mosey on over to the Guardian newspaper, and the lead story there reads, credibility doubts heighten over worsening violence and stolen PVCs. Finally, we move on to the Nigerian Tribune. Osun Guber, the EU observers warn of security risks. In the riders, we get more information. They say that the August 15 poll is a critical test for electoral institution ahead of 2027 general elections. The EU have now identified 13 out of 30 LGAs as high risk due to politically motivated killings. These EU observers now cite prolonged dispute over local government administration as key source of tension. And we'll move over to the platform Times. 10 Nigerians, 25 Ghanaians apply for asylum in Canada. 175 visitors apply for refugee protection. And Ghana, as it stands, records the highest number with 25 applicants. Over 26,000 World Cup visas issued by Canadian authorities. This is a post-World Cup Exodus report, if you will. Luckily, I'm not going to be doing this alone. I'm going to be doing this with our in-house analyst, Mr. Biodun Shomi, and Ibrahim Shita, who joins us virtually this morning. Let's get down to brass tacks. Team, a lot is happening, and the front pages this morning seem to really be focused on the fake agency scandal. It doesn't seem to be dying down anytime soon, but it seems that there's been some new developments. We'll look at the Nation newspaper. It's the same with the Punch, it's the same with the Vanguard, and it's the same with the Nigerian News Direct. We are now seeing that 29 forged documents by this fake agency have now been uncovered by the panel. AGF now says, letters to me and important documents were intercepted. He's sort of relegating himself from any sort of responsibility. Adeyemi, as it stands, and 13 other civil servants are now expected tomorrow. House of Reps members are saying that we need him here within the next 48 hours. And they're telling the IGP, produce him. We want him in our presence. I have a couple of questions. There's a presumption of innocence, Mr. Shomi. We know that he is innocent until he's found guilty. Constitutionally, is he to appear before the House as stated? And the House is also facing pressure to summon the Chief of Staff, Gbajabiamila. Constitutionally, is this allowed? Is it a blight on his office?
Well, let's start with the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. There's no doubt under our law, Mr. Adeyemi is still innocent before the law, and there's no need to engage in media trial of him. We must always affirm his innocence until proven guilty, since there's a case filed in court. Now, there are a lot of, he started the whole problem, inviting the media in, addressing press conferences and all that, and then made some salaciously, allegedly fallacious statements, and that generated intense media interest. So within that perspective, I would be able to now say, look, you invited this issue, put it in the media through press conference, so we have a right to talk about it. Now, what since come out is we've realized that so many allegations, I would refer to it as allegations, made that those documents were forged. He needs to have an opportunity to dispute them, to say it is correct, I forged them, or it is not the case. But my own concern about if care is not taken is we need to be mindful of the case in court. Can the House of Reps summon an accused person knowing that he has a right to protect himself under the law to come and indict himself in a panel? That is why I agree with the Senate decision not to embark on this probe. Yes, some will say it's administrative probe. It's aimed to, to check the institutions, to see where there are lapses and all that. I agree with that. But you're going to find yourself in a situation where now you are summoning Adeyemi, you are summoning the IG, who has taken Adeyemi to court. You are also summoning the complainant, Femi Gbajabiamila. Oh, come on, when a case is still in court. So I have my doubt about the appropriate or the propriety of that invitation. I'm not saying they do not have a right to invite anybody. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm mindful of the fact that we have to avoid media trial. An accused is still innocent until proven otherwise. So I think it's best advice for the House of Reps, to let the law take its course and leave this probe until after
Absolutely. Now, Ibrahim, these facts that are coming out about this fake agency are increasingly troubling, and I believe that every Nigerian should be worried. It raises questions of institutional integrity and whether our documentation systems are robust or even digitized or protected enough to prevent future breaches such as this. We are hearing from the Accountant General's testimony that, there was a forged State House letterheads on several letters, and there was intercepted official correspondence. How does this happen at that level? Letters, are forged with State House letterheads, and official correspondence is being intercepted by this man who is, from all indications, seems to be a con man or a criminal. So the focus is now, if I believe, at the policy level. What are the existing safeguards that we have in our systems to make these sorts of breaches impossible and to make our systems impenetrable?
Look, Olamide, let's strip away from the political drama for a second. This isn't just about the fake agency or a single corrupt individual. The real story here is how shockingly easy it is to hack the Nigerian government. We're talking about a completely fictitious entity, a ghost agency that managed to walk into the Federal Secretariat, set up a shop, open central bank accounts, and secure a 1.3 billion naira budget allocation for 2026. How does that happen without deep internal help from the inside? From inside the civil service. The House of Representatives is in a very tight spot right now, and frankly, they brought the pressure on themselves. You cannot launch an integrity probe into a scandal where the chief of staff's signature and office are the absolute, absolute center, and then leave him off the guest list. Even if Femi Gbajabiamila is 100% innocent, which he maintains he is, right? No doubt. The House needs to summon him, I believe, not necessarily as a suspect, but as the chief custodian of the president's office. If the committee fails to bring him in for questioning, the public is going to look at this whole thing as a scripted political smokescreen designed to protect the presidency, and that is not what that's not the impression they want to send. So Mr. Gbajabiamila's defense is that his signature was forged and State House letterheads were cloned. Okay, let's accept that. But that defense actually opens up a much scarier conversation, because you'll be asking yourself, if a random fraudster can mimic the chief of staff
Absolutely.
well enough.
Ibrahim, hold your thoughts for me right there, because we have to race on. I'm going to take it to the first daily newspaper. It's the same sort of story line up with the Daily Trust. It tells us here on both papers, Kaduna massacre, terrorists slaughter 30 in a fresh attack. Same with Daily Trust. These gunmen killed 5 siblings team and 25 others in Kaduna. Mr. Shomi, it almost feels as though, as we heave a sigh of relief, that some children have been returned home, some children have been released from captivity. We are seeing some serene environments in some areas of our security architecture in Nigeria. Stories like this make the front papers, and it is very, very troubling. It's what papers are now calling the Kaduna massacre, because it is a massacre. 5 siblings and 25 others. It's a fresh attack. What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, it's a sign of the growing frustration of the terrorists. I mean, they are under heat, and the military, it's busy pursuing them left, right, and center. We've seen a lot of successes recorded against them. Their chief financial or chief treasurer is in custody, with his 2 children currently. The second most powerful head of ISWAP was killed in Nigeria. And then that, you see a sign of disarray. Ordinarily, they will have marched all those people into the bush, but now they are so desperate because they know within the shortest possible time, the military and the Air Force will catch up with them. So it's a sign of desperation, but it's quite unfortunate that they had to kill all these people. My heart goes to them. What one can only say that the reward for hard work is more work. Nigerian military, please do more to help deal with these terrorists.
And we know we have additional new army divisions, and about 28,000 troops were deployed. So hopefully we see more progress. Let's move on. That's it for the newspaper reviews. We have a very interesting conversation coming up.